Well, why you gotta do it? That's the way you gotta do it?
Yeah, for this one. All right, so it's live.
Oh, you live right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
Okay.
Greetings, family. We are getting set up momentarily.
Now, which one?
Thank you for joining us.
Is the right?
Thank you for joining us. We are getting situated.
And so we go to us. Got a little music popping.
That's right. Original music. No, that's not original music. Yeah.
Got a little music popping.
That's right.
Trying to get it together, y'all.
No, that's not original music.
All right. How y'all making out? Shout out Instagram Live. What's happening, y'all?
Right. What's happening? Facebook Live.
All right. How y'all making out? Shout out Instagram Live. What's happening, y'all?
What's happening? Facebook Live.
Something like we playing. Hi, hey Chloe. What's happening, bro? Hey, man, playing for me. Quave, what's happening, brother?
Is that good?
What's happening, bro? It's replay.
Got it. So we're in business now. All right.
You turned off the volume. Oh, that's
Here.
why. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
everything's good.
All right. So it's True Love Movement Tuesdays, right, Brother Shay?
True Love Movement Tuesdays, family. What's happening? Thank y'all for joining
Right,
us.
we need to come. We need to see you.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. All right. So, how's everybody this evening?
That's right. We got who we got up here. We got Erica Wells, Natasha Wilson. Shout out Facebook Live. We got people joining us. William Batts over there. Love Music Rose on Instagram. Let you folks know we'll be getting started here soon. Wait on a few more people to come in. Greetings.
Yes. So, how was your day, Brother Shaq?
It was good, Mama. It was real good.
Yeah, very busy, always busy, but busy good.
Busy on our own terms, you know.
Yeah.
Busy the way as it should be. Right on. So this is I think our third True Love Movement Tuesday, huh, Mama?
I think so.
Yeah, it's our third True Love Movement Tuesday. We're
And
enjoying
Brother Shay
it.
say it's fun.
That's right.
You
It is
called
fun.
It is.
It is fun. This is we finally jumped back on the air with over there at the True Love Movement Hour with WBOK this last Saturday. So all of you who are watching now, thank you for joining us then. And good to see you again. Shout out to, what is this?
That's Donna.
Okay.
Hey, Donna. What's happening, Queen?
Hey, Donna. What's happening, Mama?
Yes.
Right on.
So yeah, we back on WBOK. Shout out the new WBOK.
That's right. The revamp, the reboot.
Yes.
The re-up.
And that's always on Saturday, every Saturday at 5 p.m.
Every Saturday at 5 p.m. We're actually making 5 years.
That's amazing. I love that, Brother Shay. 5 years. 5 is my favorite number. Yeah,
on November 13th. So we'll have some special, show celebrations and whatnot for that, because it's about 250 shows, family. So we're very proud of that.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, Brother Shaq? I have to say this, that all of the shows are real good quality shows. I think maybe one or two, maybe we had like technical difficulties or something like that. But it's all very quality,
very good quality.
Media.
Very good quality media. We're proud of it. We use it frequently to teach from it. And the shows are teaching tools. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, and those of you who joined us before for the True Love Movement Hour, the shows that we've done are on this page on the video section. So if you ever want to take a look back and see where we've been, please check those out. And the good part about those comment threads are always alive. And so, we appreciate your engagement and your feedback, about the shows. But we've got about, two plus years on the Facebook live video archive. So when you get a chance, check that out, see what we've been doing. And if you're with us tonight, you're going to see where we're going to go. And this is a very, very important. What's going on, Groovy Murphy? What's happening? This is a very important show that we have, been anticipating for some time, Mama Fiyah.
Yeah.
We're building this off of something very important that you wrote. So if you would, bring us into that.
All right. So October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I do believe, did you lock the door?
No. Keep going.
And, a lot of people don't know is that when you become a counselor, there is it's an internship, a very intensive internship for a whole year that you have to do. And I did mine in a domestic violence and sexual assault shelter for women and children. And so I have a whole year intensive kind of understanding of both domestic violence and, of course, sexual assault, which is also my expertise, and I'm also a survivor of both.
Right.
And so October being Domestic Violence Month, last month I did a blog from my Hey Little Sister blog. I'm excited about the Hey Little Sister blog. If y'all are readers and you like to read blogs and, poetic type of talking to my little sisters. If you're younger than me, then you're my little sister, and I really see you as that, and I want to support all my little sisters. And so I did something called When Mad Day Comes. Mm-hmm. And I talked about really, I kind of rooted it in the issue with Nas and his wife Kelis, and I realized that there's, that issue is coming back up again. So it started off in April with Kelis talking about Nas being physically abusive to her during their marriage. Mm-hmm. And then Nas came recently, I think in September, and did like some Instagram posts about it being lies, what Kelis was saying and that kind of thing. And then recently she did an article in the Essence magazine, and people were talking about it. I'm a part of a group on Facebook, and so we were all kind of engaging about it. And I just need everybody to kind of read that blog. I'm not going to go through and running down what was said there, but it's important. It's important for us to talk about black men and black women when it comes to violence, when it comes to abuse, when it comes to chaos and destruction, and about being real with really what goes on between black men and black women, because I think we kind of scan over it, or maybe it goes over our heads, but I don't know if it's taboo or even just expected. Maybe violence or bad vibes or just like terrible arguments or, fussing and fighting between black men and women.
Right.
So I just kind of wanted to drop some jewels today about how we think about it. And so if people want to join in and tell us what they think about something so personal between two, I guess, people in the limelight, they're not huge stars right now. This is not Beyonce and Jay-Z right now, but it's still, people that, we listen to their music on the radio, and they may or may not. And so they're very public figures to be saying, we had these problems in our marriage. And then, Kelis is saying that she was also, didn't back down from a fight, and he was abusive to her and that kind of thing. And so people have their opinions. People have been talking about Nas saying, he's never really appreciated and loved black women. And then there's people who are saying, oh, she's nothing but a gold digger, she lying, she want money from him, she trying to take their child from him. And at the end of the day, we don't know.
Right.
The truth of the matter is we don't know.
Right.
And it's a very private issue that and I talked about it in the blog, like about judgment, versus discernment. Because every situation that comes to us, I think universally, when situations come to us, we should try to see the lesson in it for us.
Right.
Instead of trying to say, I think, this, that, and the other. What does it mean for us? Have you ever been in a situation or a bad relationship where things got violent?
Right.
Just to think about ourselves.
Right.
Have you, Brother Shaq?
I have, because I know you were posing that question to our viewers, and we see we got Ronika has joined on the Facebook Live. We had the brother over on Instagram. He said he had some audio issues. He's coming to the Facebook Live. So we appreciate y'all moving around and trying to, be a part of this. But yeah, I think it is important for all of us to really examine what amounts to cultural norms, Mama Fiyah.
Yeah.
And the way, what black love, we know black love has been hashtagged to death. And black love is a big umbrella with all kinds of things. But, it seems also along with black love, we have some black violence. You know what I'm saying? We have some normative behavior where, black intimate partners are, physically, harming one another. Mm-hmm. And that is, part of the norm. There are many people who witness domestic violence, and I know there's some statistical data that suggests that, if you are, involved in it in some kind of way like that, even secondhand, it's likely for you to potentially engage in that kind of thing.
Definitely. And you know what? This is something that I haven't really heard of, so it's pretty cutting edge. But I want to think about domestic violence in the spectrum, which is hard because it's either domestic violence or it isn't in a lot of people's minds.
Right.
But when we're talking about black people, there are some specific things that we need to discuss. Sure, it's not just the black people thing, it happens in white families, Asian families, Muslim families.
That's right.
Hispanic, Latin families. We know it happens all over. Of course, True Love Movement specifically hones in what black people in specific need,
Yeah.
And so when I think of it for black families, I think of it as in a spectrum. And this is hard. Listen, I love and I advocate for my sisters who are survivors, victims, and then survivors of domestic violence, because I've seen it get to the point where a young woman is trying to leave and she was killed.
Right.
Brother Shaq, I've seen all sides of it.
That's right.
And it's just disturbing and so heartbreaking to see a young mother be killed by her child's father, shot in the head and just laid in a hospital for like 8 weeks in a vegetative state.
Right.
This shit is real.
Very real.
And then I've also seen it in my perspective when I actually lived it.
Right.
And so that was maybe on the spectrum, because on one side of the spectrum is like you murdered the woman.
The extreme.
And then maybe in the middle there's I will share. So I remember when, my husband was, we were young, I was like maybe 21, 22 years old. I was pregnant. I had already had a child. And so I had a child of my own. He had a child, and she lived with us. And so I had 2 children at home, plus I was pregnant. I mean, big pregnant, 8 months pregnant. And he didn't come home. Then, which he didn't do. It was pretty regular for him not to come home. And I just got fed up one day and was like, what is going on? And when he walked in, I screamed at him, what's going on? Where you been? And, got all up in his face. And he walked away, and I threw a plate at the wall. I didn't throw a plate at him. I threw a plate at the wall. And I got choked. And choked to the floor. And really lost consciousness for a little while. And I was pregnant, right? And so that's domestic violence. It's domestic violence 101. Should I have thrown the plate? Hell no. Was what he did what should have happened to me because I thrown the plate? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Was it comparable? Like I should have never thrown a plate, so now I'm gonna choke her while she's pregnant. And so we have to look at all of it. You have to look at all of it. So, no, it wasn't right for him to choke me at all. But had I understood domestic violence, had I understood controlling behavior, had I understood what the red flags were, had my mama talked to me about, now listen, if he wants to try to keep you away from the family, if he tries to, control all the money, if he tries, you know what I'm saying? Like really understanding domestic violence, I would have seen so many red flags pop up, and maybe would have avoided being in a marriage and having children with this brother. And of course, the children are great, and all's well that ends well. I'm well now, thank goodness. And now I have an understanding of how we get caught up in domestic violence relationships, Brother Shaq.
That's right.
How we get caught up with each other. I'm sure there was some red flags that he saw. With me, and so I think the solution is understanding and awareness of domestic violence to the point where we know red flags and we heed them. Because that's one thing to have a red flag going off right in your head, and you're like, oh, but they're so fine. And girl, look in the bedroom. So, and then he buys me everything. I'm gonna put blinders on to those red flags. But every single time the red flags are right, Brother Shaq. Them gut instincts, the intuition is right. You know what I'm saying? And so what you say about that?
But I mean, I've had some several domestic violence type situations myself over the years, and a lot when I was younger, and some not so young. You mentioned about in your story when you talked about you got in his face. And I remember that happened to me, and the woman got in my face, and she pushed me, and next thing I knew, I had already hit her, and I felt terrible about that after I had done it, but in the moment, it felt like the right thing to do, and so I realized that there's this threshold for men or for black. I can only speak for for black men. I can tell you, black men in general, particularly black men of a certain age, and somebody in my mid 40s now, I can talk about my generation and even the ones a couple before us. I've never met a black man that liked to be checked about anything, about anything from anyone. And a lot of things too, I think, because we're talking about the red flags and we're talking about the domestic violence, but I'm also thinking of the domestic violence and that kind of behavior as a result of some other things. And so you got a black man not liking to be checked, who I completely concur, and based on my own empirical experience and evidence, as well as training and so forth, and other experience working specifically with black men and boys, I can tell you that black men and black boys are the most sensitive beings on the planet. I mean, very, very sensitive And that, you know, that shouldn't be with any judgment on it. It's just the fact that brothers are very, very aware of how people perceive them, we care about how people are looking at us, what people are saying, what kind of tone they're using, all kinds of things. And these things are we've internalized a lot of things about what manhood is and what manhood means, and how men are supposed to be, and also how women are supposed to respond to men. That's a real big one.
Yes.
Like we socialized in ownership of women. You know, that's the American paradigm that for most black boys, particularly when you get around, you know, puberty time, the one thing you want to get is a black girl or a black woman. You want to own one, just like you want a kind of car or a certain kind of house. So, you know, it's part of the socialization. I don't have any judgment on this, but this is just a matter of observation, a matter of studying and lived experiences. And so, but we don't usually talk about this kind of thing. So because we don't talk about it, we perceive it to be normative behavior or normative expectation. So when a black woman checks a black man, he doesn't like it in any kind of way. But if she gets in his face and wants to do it physically, he really doesn't like it. And I've seen this tension happen between like some black mothers and black sons in particular. There's some, because you talk about red flags, there are things that happen in childhood situations, Mama Fiyah.
Definitely.
Because I've seen quite a few black mamas upset with black sons, and she would punch them in the chest. You know, I've seen it in public or in private or what have you. And, you know, that does something to a brother. And it does something to the psyche because it's abusive. So what I'm saying is, long before we get to intimate partner violence, there are these other kinds of things that usually take place too in a brother's life or experience that isn't typically analyzed, but yet part of the culture, part of the way we were cultured or acculturated. And so when you get into a situation where you got a woman who you perceive to be inferior in your face, or checking you, or talking strong to you, or talking to you in a certain way in front of people, I mean, there's all different kind of nuances, then that does something to a brother's, to his feelings about himself and what he perceives manhood to be and what he's been socialized to think about manhood. And so there's that, you know, I have to do something. And then there's that presumptive of the adversarial relationship, you know, with the woman, like that the black woman is against me. You know, that's the other thing. Like, there she go running her mouth kind of thing. Like, that's just one more thing that's happening to me as a black man that I'm not able to do something about, and I'm tired of it. You know, you're at the job and brothers are getting messed over on the job, or they're not treated or regarded as men on the job, or whatever the case is, and then they get home, because, you know, we've all heard that the man is the king of his castle. It ain't say nothing about what the woman is or none of that. The man is the king of the castle. He's supposed to have the big piece of the chicken. I mean, there's all these things, like, you know, that we learn in our culture. So when the woman challenges some of these things, it stirs up something in the man, and then it becomes something physical, because most men are not skilled at, you know, arguing, you know, with women. They don't learn how, or they're taught that men really don't talk much, but they use their hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you know, women be with all that mouth. You know, we've heard that. So brothers aren't always accustomed to being able to use their words and express what they're feeling and what their position is. They don't, you know, they confidently, especially in a highly charged emotional situation. So we do see a lot of the physical violence, and then we find out that when the physical violence is employed and it's responded to by the woman, and she is, you know, afraid, or there's fearful, or whatever the case is, then that reaffirms some control mechanism. So now that's how come, you know, in the flags, like, starts off with a little push, a little shove, and then there's a smack, and then there's a full-on punch, and then there's a stabbing or a shooting or whatever the case is, because this is it becomes a control tactic.
Yeah, so one of our Instagram Live watchers, Love Music Roses, says the understanding and support or awareness would have been helpful. In that immediate or current moment, it gets really scary. There is no telling what can happen.
Right.
I mean, I dodged a bullet several times because with the choking that happened, of course, there's a cycle of violence, a cycle of
Right.
abuse. So I went back. I left, then I went back because that's what happens in domestic violence. It's a very sick thing. It's a very sick codependency that happens between two people. So I went back, and then it happened again, and then I left, and then after leaving, I was stalked. I was threatened to be killed. I was stalked literally. I have a gun in the car. I'm ready for you to walk out that door, and so I had to leave the city for a while.
Right.
I literally left the South for 3 months. And then came back and things were kind of low. Then they started up again. And then it ended very sadly, tragically, and violently, Brother Shaq. But the truth of the matter is, when Mad Day comes, we have learned how to hurt each other deeply.
Right.
We have learned how to destroy one another. And as you were telling your story, and thank you for being brave enough to talk about this.
Absolutely.
We are brave enough to talk about this. We have both been in domestic violence situations.
Yes.
I have been the victim, but I've also been the perpetrator later on in a different relationship, y'all. This is me being real,
Right.
that women can perpetrate domestic violence
That's right.
against men. It can happen. And I did it. And listen, when it happened, I felt terrible. I really put my hands on the children's father, and it got terrible. He didn't try to hurt me back, thank goodness. But that's when I realized it was over.
Right.
But Brother Shaq, you have also
I've
had
been a
situations where
victim.
women,
Yeah.
right? He's been a victim and a perpetrator. So wait, so it's us two, right?
Right.
We've had lives and we've lived lives and it's been hard, but our lives ain't been very much different
No.
from the people around us. And so we need to get real about what this really is, And listen, you said something about, I didn't think it was the right thing to do. And at the end of the day, is it ever the right thing to do?
Right. It's not.
Is it ever the right thing to do? If, one of them said, well, and I brought up like Nas and Kelis, and then his his daughter's mom wrote a tell-all book about
Right,
how
yeah.
he also like beat her up and punched her in the face and dragged her and messed her face up and all these things. And I was bringing it up on the group I'm in, and one of the ladies were like, well, she cheated on him with Jay-Z.
Right.
And so is it right if your woman cheats on you with a man, your enemy? Is it right to punch her in the face and drag her down the stairs and pull her hair out?
Right.
When is it ever right? And the thing about it is, it's not right.
No.
It's never right to put your hands on anyone. Now if somebody put their hands on you, hey, we all know that we from New Orleans,
Sure.
and we understand self-defense. But when we are two people who love each other, right? Who have professed our love, we've had children, we are living in the same house, we decided to come together in partnership. So we are two people who are in a partnership and love each other. There is never any reason to put hands on one another.
That's right.
There's always reason to walk away. There's always reason to separate. There's always reason to take your bags and walk out of the house. There is never a reason to push someone, to choke someone, to drag someone, or punch someone. And that can go either way.
Definitely.
Because see, when I was younger, I had a family member that I was close to. And this is real. There was a family that I was close to. We would kind of double date on a regular basis. I was friends with his girlfriend. He was friends with my boyfriend. And I used to witness how his girlfriend used to like hit him and like be all up in his face and like spit on him. One time she spat on him and he knocked her out, and it's like, what are we doing? We are so destructive. We are almost like, I know there's killing on the street and there's murder, and I'm not trying to, underplay that. But like people in their own homes that's supposed to love each other and share children and share futures and all that together are even more so destroying one another, Brother Shaq.
Right.
How many times do we hear about women who are found on mangled on the side of the road.
Definitely.
We know situations where a boyfriend actually shot the woman while she was pregnant.
That's right.
With their child. It's like it can really go off the wire. And like I said, it's a spectrum because some men, of course, are raised with seeing their mom and dad fight. Some men and women,
right.
Mom and dad fighting, to them that's love.
Yeah.
That's love.
That's right.
If you all up in my face and we fighting and then we make love, that's how it goes. That's just how it goes.
Or some of the women say, you ain't a real man. You don't really love me because what I'm saying.
Because you ain't fighting for me.
Yeah, you ain't fighting me for me. Like
right.
you ain't willing to bust me in my mouth. Like the last dude did. You just trying to talk to me and you ain't really serious. I mean, the dysfunction is very, very serious. What has become the normative behavior. But Mama Fiyah, I think we would do the discussion a disservice if we didn't go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because long before a man decides it's right to hit a woman, or a woman decides that it's the right thing under whatever circumstances to hit a man, there's something in us that says it's okay for black people to be hurt. Like, we have a history in this country, the way we've been socialized, that you just do all kind of things to black people. We've seen it since the plantation. We've seen the physical abuse, the emotional abuse, the every kind of abuse, the dehumanization. And so there is a certain level of conditioning amongst black people that black people are to be ran over and mangled and their property destroyed and them, physically hit and, like you say, spat upon. Like, there's a track that plays in our head that says that this is normal and normative behavior as it relates to just the collective of black people. And I'm saying that because there are images, the news, all these kinds of things. We see visuals of black people getting messed over physically all the time. So it seems very, very normal, very, very normal to do something to black people. And I'm saying that because though black people are very violent with one another, and we've seen all the history on that in recent times, and I guess, the last 100 or so years, we've seen that, but we're not violent with other people. We're not historically violent with other people. Only black people. Black people are only violent with black people. And what's interesting about that and worth us thinking about is the fact that if we have the capacity, we demonstrate the capacity to physically and very violently destroy one another. We do. We demonstrate that all the time. So that means we have the capacity to do it. But somehow, some way, all that quote unquote savage behavior that we have stops short of leaving the black community. It stays in our community. And that's an interesting thing that we should all think about, because there's very, very specific reasons about that. But the point I'm making is this: we know how not to hurt and violate certain people. That's proof. So we know where to stop. We know boundaries. The problem is we violate the boundaries of one another with impunity, and that's very, very problematic. So that would have to go with us presuming that the other is the enemy. That's why True Love Movement, we talk about this deficiency, this idea that men and women are the opposite sexes, because fundamentally that lie makes it very easy to do one another in, because this whole, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, and men and women are opposite sexes, and men are just like this and women are like that. Right. And that is all bullshit.
Lies. It's lies.
It's all bullshit. It's all complete bullshit that we've been fed by the dominant culture. We've internalized it, and all we're doing is mimicking what we've seen them do. It's important to point that out, Mama Fiyah, because I don't want any of our people walking around thinking that we're just inherently violent people and we're just bad, evil people that want to fuck over each other.
That's right.
That's not who we are. That's not who we are at all. But we have learned that, and we have learned that this is what you do to black people. This is what you do to black people.
And let me say, we are angry. Very. And as we should be angry. And who is right? I mean, who do you hurt the most? Like, you hurt those who love you the most, who are closest to you the most, because of access. And also, yes, we're trying to, identify with the dominant culture, yes. But I want us to realize this is real. We are outraged. We are enraged. And we are enraged. And so, who do you fight? Your baby's mama, or your, what I'm saying, your baby daddy. Like, you want to kill them. You want to hurt them, because we are beyond angry in a very sick way.
Yeah.
And so we need help completely, with it. And so I want to thank you for bringing that out too, for us to get a real good analysis of this, y'all. Because we can say, yeah, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we need to talk about domestic violence.
Right.
We need to talk about domestic violence, yes, and the red flags, yes. And we need to really identify the anger in us. If we are angry, we should be angry.
I'm angry,
because
Mama Fiyah.
Definitely. Definitely. And let me say this, since we're sharing, there have been times in our relationship when things get a little bit tough. Maybe we stressed out or whatever, and something happens, boom.
Yeah.
Both me and you, we powerful, Brother Shaq. I'm powerful by myself. You powerful by yourself.
Right on.
And when that turns ugly,
that's
right? We could destroy. We can destroy all of this beauty and all of this. And so what I have learned to say is, brother, we are some powerful people.
That's right.
We either create something with this, or we'll destroy what we have. And so we take a break. We and that don't happen often. It doesn't happen often, thank goodness. But because we are angry, and we should be angry. We're angry because of what's happening right now. What we have to witness every damn day on social media, on the news media, everywhere, that we are nothing, where we are inferior, and that we are, playthings to be taken from. We have to witness that amongst, children dying in the street and police and all these things we have to worry about. And then our own past. We're angry because of what has happened to us.
In our collective past.
In our collective past, but our personal past, we're angry. And then our historical past, Brother Shaq, is a damn shame. And that stuff is in our DNA.
Absolutely.
And so we are enraged. The thing about it is, we need to learn how to manage and healthily cope with our anger.
That's right. And only because this, family, because if we don't, then we are as bad as our oppressor. We are destroying our own people. And truth is, we just only fucking over our own people. We ain't doing that to nobody else. That's an issue. I got an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? Like we got all this anger and all this rage and all this tension and all this animosity, but we have it towards each other, and we all have gotten our ass kicked the same kind of way.
That's right.
By this same oppression. Black women have a peculiar relationship with this oppression, and black men have one also, but even that differs. So we don't really have any time or any business to be fighting with each other, which is evidence of the emotional and the trauma that has taken its toll on us. Because logically, we know this shit don't make no sense. But yet, when you get angry and you get mad, you get so furious at your loved one. You want to physically hurt your loved one. And I want to add this to the conversation, Mama Fiyah, because it ain't just about the hurt. What black men, and I'll speak on behalf of the way black men have been socialized, and I'll also add the way black women now have responded in their socialization. Black men essentially function to control black women. That black women are to be controlled. That black women, there is a history throughout the time we have been here in America where everyone has seen that the black woman is to be controlled. That the black woman's mind, body, and spirit are not her own, but they're for someone else. And that's the way it is. And much of the stuff that comes up is a result of the black woman resisting that bullshit, trying to reaffirm herself and reclaim her humanity and her human dignity. That is where much of the tension and the angst comes from, because in America, The black man looks up at the white man and he does whatever the fuck he pleases with impunity. For people who keep up with politics and they in all of that bullshit, you can see it right now that the white man said this and did that and even said he did it and said it, and he still got to do what the fuck he wanted to do. And people supported him and made it happen. So the country is built on that. So don't you think black men ain't sitting there looking at it and say, well, shit, ain't I a man? Well, shit, I want that shit too. You know, because they make it look real good, like it's something to have. So we have a history of looking up at what, you know, we see the slave master do and saying and trying to mimic that and make that the same kind of situation and the same dynamic that we experience. That's exactly what we do, because that's where we start. I'm not saying every brother's doing that, but I am saying that we start with that, and often we don't even have an analysis on how we're socialized. We just say it's normal. That's what we're supposed to do. A man's supposed to do this. A man's supposed to do that. You know, what they used to say, stay in a woman's place. Stay in a woman's place.
Yeah.
So that means if you don't stay in a woman's place, there's a mechanism to put you in a woman's place. But where the hell a woman's place came from? Who decided that? A woman? It wasn't a woman? You know what I'm saying? So there's on top of the anger that we have on how we've been mistreated, there's also these other nuanced things that happen that fuel a lot of the expectations and the desire for control, that a black woman's supposed to be controlled. And then conversely, this notion that the black man, that's the intimate partner, well, he for her, that's my man. You know what I'm saying? And so women is out, you know, they out fighting other women and all this other stuff over, quote unquote, some man that's doing both of them dirty.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's her property. That's her man. And that's a response. That's a response to the shit. So that's not women creating that. That's a response to that. So we have to also look at the pathology in totality, not just a glimpse of it and saying, you know, I don't care what happened, you should never put your hand on no woman. And then, you know, there's the other thing that's when a woman pull out a gun on you and she busts you upside the head with it, you're supposed to take it and lay there and get killed because you don't put your hand on a woman.
You don't put your hand on a woman, and women, you don't put your hands on a man.
That's right.
Period.
That's right.
Keep your hands and feet to yourself. Like I tell my little pre-K babies, you know, put your hands. That's a golden rule. You treat others the way you want to be treated, for one, and keep your hands to yourself. If it ever gets to the point where you want to hurt somebody,
that's right.
that you are beyond overboard. You're beyond overboard at that point, and it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for the children.
Nobody.
I think about the children, y'all. How many children have witnessed domestic violence between their parents? That's why domestic violence keeps perpetuating over and over and over again, because we are showing it to our children. We're saying, yes, you know, we might be bad right now, but we're gonna get back together. We're gonna be all right, baby. You know what I'm saying? But we'll never really deal with the issue, and we just keep on repeating the whole cycle. And the children are watching us. And so my sister said, you know, she said, I'm angry. And she said, teach me to cope. So listen, the first thing is identifying that you're angry.
Right.
Our people won't even say, well, they may be the angry black woman though, or they may, you know, they don't say I'm angry. Straight. It's like something happens, you know, it's like big boom of violence bursts out. Nobody's saying it. Sure. Nobody's expressing that they're angry. And we got to put a finger on our emotions every single time.
That's right.
You better say how you feel. Then you'll know what you're working with. So I said first is saying I am angry, is identifying that. And remember, there's no pill for anger.
Right.
There's no pill. There's no magic wand for anger. There's no pill for coping. Well, it might be unhealthily coping. There's a bunch of pills for that.
Yeah, but you don't never.
You know what I'm saying? But for healthily coping, there is no pill. There is no weed. There is no drink. There is none of that is going to really get you coping with it. So what you say, Brother Shaq? Brother Shaq said, what about shopping? Shopping don't work neither. Shopping is an unhealthy way. There are many unhealthy ways to cope. Healthy ways to cope, though, have everything to do with self-control. This is hard. Listen to me. Self-control. Where is your center? Okay? Find your center. Have you ever been centered? Have you ever been balanced? Where is that place of balance? Not where we're high, 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 or low, 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 but when we are centered and balanced. That's what we need to find as a people. Centered. Now, if you've ever felt centered before, then you know how to get there, right? If you've ever felt centered before, remember what had to happen in order for you to feel that way, centered, right? So find your center, where's your balance. Get there. You have to fight for it, right? If somebody's threatening you, say it's somebody that you love or a family member or somebody's threatening you and really kind of trying to, quote unquote, push your buttons. Okay, I say this all the time. You don't have buttons.
Right.
You are not a computer. You are not a cell phone. You do not have buttons. You are not a puppet. And there's a the other person is a puppeteer making you, react in a certain way. Right. And think about it. If somebody does hit a tender place in you, that's your work. That's when you need to say, okay, that hurt real bad. Why? Why does that hurt so bad? Do I actually feel insecure? Do I actually feel dumb? Do I feel stupid? Why is that hurting so bad? Right. So, that's part of it. So, listen, this is what I know and this is what I do. When I'm angry, when my anger is sparked, because I am angry. I'm angry about a lot of things. I had to have a conversation with my son today about what goes on outside of this house. And the reason why it's important for me to tell him that he's 13 years old. Do you think I really want to talk to him about that? Right. So I'm angry. I'm definitely angry. And so what did I do after I had that conversation with him? And I had a lump in my throat when I'm telling him about what's going on outside of the house as far as police are concerned, about, why it's important for me, and we had a serious conversation. I went into my room and I immediately turned on my music and I started freestyling. So what I've decided is, for me, I'm not saying it works for everybody, but artistic expression is a good way to express emotion.
That's right.
People will say, oh, that shit don't work. Have you tried it?
Right.
Have you tried intentionally saying that I'm going to let some stuff out here, right? You might have to curse. You might have to cry. You might have to tap into some stuff, but you letting it out. You're expressing your anger in a way that makes sense. Right? What helps me? Running. Sometimes I'm walking, I'm working out, and then I just bust out running. Right. And I'm breathing and I'm sweating, and I'm intentionally letting that anger out in a healthy way, so that I don't take it out on my children, so that I don't take it out on my man, so that I don't take it out on other people who don't deserve it. So artistic expression, creativity, run, sweat, intentionally breathing.
Right.
You can grab peace in the atmosphere, in the ether, in the atmosphere all around you. There is peace, there is wholeness, right? It's right there for you. Breathing in, go get that anger. A lot of the time anger sits here. A lot of the time it sits on our chest, sits on our shoulders.
Yep.
Take your breath, grab it literally, and breathe it out.
That's right.
Right? We have to learn how to do these things, my people, or we will destroy each other. Yep. And there's more.
There's definitely more to do. I like to write, Mama Fiyah. I like to write about it.
Yes.
I even talk to myself about. I don't freestyle, but I talk. I say it out loud to really listen to how it sounds. Because, if you'll do that, again, it may not work for everybody, but it works for me because I can start, realizing how I'm sounding. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. You know what I mean? This isn't really what that is. And it's difficult because we really are, we got a lot of tension in us from hundreds of years of this. And I think one of the things I really appreciate you saying is we really have to acknowledge that.
Yes.
And I say we don't do that because in many ways we're ashamed. We're angry about being angry. And we angry, we gotta be angry. And I totally understand that because I am. You know what I'm saying? I hate that the shit gotta be like this. And why does it have to be this way? Because I didn't, none of us deserve this, but here we are with it. So there's some shame in there, and then we don't want to appear angry. We do a lot of shit based on appearances. We don't want to appear to be angry. You know, we want to watch our tone, and we should be respectful. But most of the time, Mama Fiyah, and most of the things that I've seen, that I've experienced even and also observed, is very seldom is that anger really directed at the person that really did whatever to us. Like it don't even really be about that. It be about some other shit that happened 10 years ago when we should have spoke up and we didn't. I mean, it'd be all kind of, you know, it'd be that kind of stuff. And so when we finally decide to do it, it's this big old explosion, and it looks like we just went too far, and we went off the deep end and all of that other shit. But, you know, so I think incrementally acknowledging that you're angry, but then say, well, what am I angry about? And when you're asking yourself that question, and I'm saying this specifically for our people, we just had a show, was that Saturday, on the True Love Movement Hour, which is up on the page. We talked about things being taken out of context, and then the necessity of context, and that when you're looking at something through the lens of either black or white, that simply isn't sufficient for what we're experiencing. You really have to have some kind of an analysis on it, so you need context. The reason you need an analysis is because if not, you're going to have an opinion. And if you have an opinion, which essentially is a judgment, you are fucking up. I'm going to just say it like that. The shit don't require your opinion. It doesn't require you to judge it. It requires that you really look at it analytically, scientifically, to understand what's happening. So when you're angry, you have to understand what you're angry about. And it's not because so-and-so is fucking with you in that moment. You're angry because you didn't have enough money from last month. You're angry because so-and-so owes you money and ain't paid you. You're angry because it's hot outside. You're angry because the children need more money for some more bullshit. But if you don't get it for them, it's going to be some more shit. You're angry. I mean, there's a long list of things you're angry about. But what ends up happening is that your intimate partner, that person right there with you, you know, you say, they're pushing my buttons. They're fucking with me. Why don't you quit fucking with me? Or we look for what we think, Mama Fiyah, is the least resistance of the person that's going to allow us to do that. Because most of the time when we're upset about certain kinds of situations that happen far away from us, we don't go over there messing with them people. We don't go over there and do that anything. We go home and we take it out on the children. We take it out on the partner. We take it out on the dog. You know, we want to do all kind of shit. So we have to be real with ourselves and say, I am upset, and I'm upset because, you know, I really didn't take action, and I can't take action because I don't want to go to prison. I mean, you got to be real about that. But that is okay that you're angry. It's what you do with that shit that has everything to do with what happens next. You know, you can't unring a bell. Once you do that shit, you know, it's done, and you can feel bad about it. But then there's other consequences. And, you know, how do we feel when we finally cool off? Because you're going to cool off. If you don't die, you're going to cool off. And so if you cool off, but then you realize all the shit you done did that you cannot undo. So now you got a whole nother problem. And a lot of people be angry about that shit. You know?
You gotta be well to even get these understandings that we're bringing up. Listen, domestic violence, we're identifying, this is True Love Movement's own understanding. This is nothing you're gonna find anywhere else, that it's on a spectrum. And so there are some crazy motherfuckers. There are some crazy people who are controlling from the gate. Right. And crazy and will kill you and all these different things. That's why the red flags and awareness is important, especially these young people. You know, I hear it a lot of times in young relationships. I'm talking about high school. Yeah. And he done snatched you up. Hold the fuck up.
Or took the phone and broke the phone.
Yeah, took the phone, broke the phone. There are so many red flags. But my sister, Love Music Rosa, says, I am a writer as well. Even when I write, I find myself bringing up the old shit. Right. Listen.
It's great.
That's good. That's tender. Mm. The old shit, it's tender. And that's what it's telling you to get, to work
resolve
there.
it.
work there.
Yep.
Stop there, work there, figure out, and get help if you need to. Don't be afraid to get help. You know, it's okay to get help to deal with stuff and say, I need help for this. So, yeah. And listen, we are not talking about the people who can't access this. There are some people who cannot access this understanding.
That's right.
But this affects all of us.
Right.
You know, I bet you everybody on this thread, everybody on a thread on Instagram Live has a story to tell.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes with, you know, chaos and destruction between, you know, partners.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
if a black man, black woman, black man, black man, black woman, black woman. Because it spans over sexuality.
Black people.
Black people, yes. We all have, you know, situations in our past or even in our right now that need to be resolved. And so the ways to do that, you know, I think about, I have to speak at a domestic violence event on the 20th, and I'm glad they asked me to speak. And so what I'm going to talk about the whole time is red flags.
Right. We're going to put that in a thread too, that flyer. So go ahead.
Yeah, red flags. We all need to identify. Like, I'm talking red flags from the very, very beginning. You know, because there's something called love bombing. Have we ever heard of love bombing? Where it's like a big flood and gush of love, 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 flowers and all of this, and oh, I love you very soon.
Right.
Then as soon as you like, oh, I love you too, then it's bam, you know.
Right.
Well, you my slave, nah, ha, 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 you know. Love bombing, there's breaking things. You know, people don't realize that breaking things is a red flag for domestic violence.
That's
like
right.
it's actually something that you can consider violent.
Definitely.
Is when they break. I hear people who, oh, he broke my phone. Huh?
Right.
Or he bought me a better one, you know, afterwards. And so
Right.
therefore you're staying. You're
Right.
staying.
He
You're
saw
now
it.
in the cycle of abuse. Because the cycle of abuse is the honeymoon period.
Uh-huh.
Then there's a tension building
Right.
period.
And
And then
then
there's an explosion.
boom.
Then there's a honeymoon
Honeymoon.
period. Then there's a tension building and explosion. And until I got the understanding of that, I didn't realize that in my first marriage, where I had the actual domestic violence relationship, we were doing that over and over and over again. I didn't even realize it.
Right.
Because I didn't know. You know, it's important for us to know.
Right. No, I hate you and I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. He would never put his hands on me, and I know that. And I would never put my hands on him.
Right on.
Never. We have caught each other so early on when feelings get like, you know, when we start getting the mean face, that's when we got the nah. I got to go do my self-care, Brother Shaq. You need to go do, I don't care what you do. Just, I'm going to do mine, okay? And I do care. I mean, I want him to do it as well, but I can only control me.
That's it.
You know, and domestic violence and any violence or any physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, all those things is about power and control.
Right.
Power
We
and
talk
control.
extensively about
and
that
please
for
talk
many
to your brothers about that, the fact that they can only control themselves.
That's right. Or they only need to control themselves. I
They
think
cannot control anyone else.
that's and so that's part of the thing that this, you know, again, I'm going to bring back up the, you know, the dominant culture in quote unquote mainstream America and the power that, you know, it's white men wield wherever they are. Nobody checks them. You know, black boys and black men grow up looking at that and wanting a piece of that and really want to have the same kind of experience. As a matter of fact, that it starts to be a very normal experience. So they work to create that kind of experience. And so when that's not happening, instead of saying, well, maybe this really ain't the shit to do, the thought is, well, she needs to submit. She's not being compliant. You know what I'm saying? As the sister is talking about these different forms of abuse. You know, you got emotional abuse. You got the psychological abuse. You know, there's not just the physical abuse. And a lot of times all this shit happens to sexual abuse. Because, you know, they between intimate partners and stuff like that, husband and wife, you know, there are husbands that are raping their wives. You know, that's in some of the work I did for our Resolving Rape Culture workshop, we looked at where that didn't become illegal in all 50 states until the 90s, that it was legal, that in other words, rape didn't exist between a husband and a wife because the wife was the property of the husband. I mean, all these are control, because we know rape is about control. You know what I'm saying? So we have the power and control and the dominance and dominion over another is at the very root of what we're talking about here. The actual violence is the result of it not working as planned, or the tool to keep it working as planned.
All right. So I think we talked about last True Love Movement Tuesdays. We talked about black women's thoughts matter.
Yes.
And it's true.
Definitely.
Even in this case, right? Even in this case, there are people, like I said, there are people who are saying Nas is, he never respected women in his lyrics. So how do we expect him to respect his wife? And then on the other hand, they have people saying Kelis is a liar. She's trying to get child support money. She's trying to take his son away from him, and she's a gold digger,
and
right?
We don't know these people.
We don't know. Nobody
know
knows. Nobody was there, whatever. But I still maintain that black women's thoughts matter. Meaning she is saying this happened, right? And she's also admitting, I have to say, Kelis also admits to saying, I don't back down from a fight. And yeah, I'm bossy, and yeah, I was all up in his face. So she didn't say, yeah, I'm at fault too.
That's right.
But she did say that she wasn't backing down from no fight. How many times have we been in those situations? How many times have I been in a situation with a man? I have learned, the hard way to see the angst in a brother and be like, okay, I can't be, I can't blow up either, because it's about to go down up in here. So I'm gonna choose to whatever, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but even if our sisters are not well, here we go.
That's right.
Even if our sisters are not well and they need work, it still doesn't mean that her thoughts doesn't matter. Her thoughts, black women's thoughts matter. They do matter, and black women's truths matter. The truth matters. Listen, when we say the thoughts matter, so does the truth. It's time for us as women to really, really reflect and know and ask yourself, how and why did I get myself in this situation?
That's right.
How did I get here? It wasn't, he didn't physically say, yeah, great, come on, girl, come with me. Yeah, let me lie to you and let me do all these things for you. And even maybe he did. But when we come back to the reflection in the mirror, we have to ask ourselves, how did we get here? And it wasn't all him.
That's right.
It wasn't all him. Something about you attracted this human being. Something about you looked past all the red flags.
Right.
Something about you needed this, whatever it is, for the lesson.
Let me jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Our Instagram feed is getting ready to run out. We got 4 seconds. And so if you're still there for Instagram, you can jump over to the Facebook Live, because we can keep the show going.
I'm not touching.
For all of you, again, we thank you for joining us for True Love Movement Tuesdays. We're still rolling, because this way we can do it as long as we need to do it, and we just don't want to stop here. But for our Instagram folks, if you can still hear me, you can jump over to the Facebook Live. The show will be available in.
My life in exchange for yours.
No.
This.
Just turn it on, Brother Jack.
Right on.
And so my sister said, look up gaslighting to help identify red flags, manipulation. Brother Jack.
Well, we got to refresh
Oh,
so
okay.
we can see.
Okay.
There you go.
Red flags, manipulation, and the roads. Let me see. And the roads to abuse. Okay, some women that are abused, that red flags turns white or becomes out of desperation.
Wow, give in.
Yeah. And one of them said, I got choked one time in high school, and that was a wrap for me putting my hands on anybody, including children. Wonderful. I'm angry because it was something about me. I was thinking about that this morning. Right. It's important for us to listen. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm not saying it's always a black woman's fault. And And this is for black men too. I'm just speaking to my sisters.
Right.
I'm speaking to my sisters straight up. Whenever we find ourselves in difficult situations, understand why. Start asking yourself why. Why am I here? What is the lesson that I was supposed to learn in this? How do I learn the lesson and not repeat it? how do I decide I'm going to be different? I'm not going to be the same woman I was when I was in this relationship.
That's
You
right.
think black men could do the same?
Well, absolutely. I mean, listen, and we have to acknowledge too, and I'm glad you brought it up earlier. Black men aren't always the perpetrators in these scenarios. Sometimes black men are very much so, physically abused by black women.
It happens.
It happens a lot more frequently than it's ever reported because black men are not at all, proud to say, and I want you to come a little closer to me, not at all proud to say that, I'm being abused. They won't tell anybody that. You know what I'm saying? And oftentimes because of the stigma, somebody would laugh at them and say, "Man, what's wrong with you? If this woman is beating on you." And so we always have to look at whenever we're being abused or we're in situations where we put ourselves in, like you're talking about, what's our self-esteem like? What's that about? You know what I'm saying? How do we come to the place where, this is a good idea for us? So that's the reflection. Yeah, Shantice is saying it
happens.
It does happen.
It happens. People don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stigma attached to it. But, I've seen in couples counseling, these sisters who are calling their husbands bitch-ass nigga.
Right.
How many times he gonna be a bitch-ass nigga before he
so
snaps?
He's not a bitch-ass nigga. Whatever
right?
that is.
Or he snaps. You triggering things from childhood possibly.
Right.
You telling a man who down already that you ain't shit. And I'm not saying that is cause for him to beat your ass.
Right.
There's never cause to beat anybody's ass unless they're trying to beat yours, right? I mean, if a woman
you have to defend yourself.
Right, you have to defend yourself. Now it's different because men are physically stronger. My thing is black men should not hit women. Black women should not hit men.
Right.
And that's the general rule.
Right.
There's no need for it ever. And black women shouldn't hit black women. I mean, black men shouldn't hit black men. But I mean,
that's what we're saying, that we don't have to do this to each other. All we're doing is mimicking that bullshit we saw on the plantation. I mean, there's no reason to. The whole idea that your mission is to force someone else into submitting to you, that is sick. Because it completely violates their humanity. It completely violates their sovereignty as a person. You know what I'm saying? And so for that to be the mission is flawed. And we have to really look at that, family. Like the idea is, wanting to put fear in people. You know what I'm saying? To hurt them physically, emotionally, psychologically.
Yes.
And that's because we're hurt. Healthy people don't do that shit. So let's just be real. Healthy people don't do that.
Come on, Brother Shag.
So it's an indicator that if this is how you're carrying on, then you're not as healthy as you need to be in a relationship with somebody.
Right.
Because that means your ass ain't healthy enough to be in a relationship with your damn self. Because you're abusing yourself by putting yourself in that kind of position.
And that's where you start. You start with a relationship with yourself.
Right.
And it's okay to say, I'm going to take a break on relationships until I get myself together, because I can't keep doing the same old thing.
Right.
That it's insane to do the same thing over and over and over and over. We are attracted. That's understand. Are we want to for us?
Thank you.
Listen, part of the coping for anger too is what I coined the art of letting go.
Right.
Brother Shag, there's an art to letting go.
That's right.
And I know because I use it. And so I have developed a Sister Start Here series that's going to come out in January 2019.
Right on.
Right? So we got four. We have 4 different workshops. We have the Motherhood, the Mothership. We have the Emotional Healing 101. We have the Art of Letting Go. And then we have a Body Love workshop, right? We have 4. If I can get 10 sisters who are committed to do that whole series with me, I'll do it. If not, listen, I put it out there. Sisters, maybe 1 or 2 sisters might want to join in, whatever. Listen, we need 10 committed sisters who are able to pay the fee, because there will be a fee, because this is serious work that we're doing, right? to do the Sister Start Here series, so that we can really move from A to B. It's time to move. Instead of just crying about it, it's good to cry. It's good to let it go. We're trying to move. We're trying to level up.
That's
If
right.
we're going to level up, then we got work to do.
That's right. And there's nothing wrong with, doing that particular work. What day of the week are you looking at for the series? It
Saturday.
depends. Okay, Saturday.
It's probably going to be on Saturday. I know that's a hard day for people, but it's the best day for, usually most people are off on that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is, for that was the Sister Yaja, what we understand is people make time for the shit that they want to do.
They do.
And everyone doesn't necessarily find value in it. Like we talk about this all the time, in-house talk and shop. Everybody, ain't hit the bottom. Like for some people, the shit gotta get so bad for them.
Come on, Brother Shag.
It gotta be like really, really fucked up for them to say, all right, okay, let me go see what you're talking about, kind of thing. For many people who are somewhat functional, they say, I'm all right. Or we'll have people who want to come around when they get in a particular crisis, and they just want some relief in that. And so when we start working and they get a little bit of better feeling, then they disappear. Well, I'm good until they ass hit the bottom and then they come back. We get that that's a process. There ain't no judgment on that.
Yeah.
But the as the sister said, it's work. It's investing in yourself. So
Yes.
now we're getting down to it. There's a great number of people who don't think enough of themselves.
Come on, Brother Shag.
To even invest in themselves to learn something that can improve their own condition. We really got to look at that, family. See, you got to have a certain kind of healthy self-esteem to even embark upon a journey, or at least continue a journey of self-discovery, and confront the things about yourself that you're not proud of. I talked to a brother who was talking earlier that's doing some self-work and some self-investigation, and he says it's not comfortable. And he's right, that shit is not comfortable at all. You know what I'm saying? But no kind of growth ever really is. But what's also not comfortable is always being in a goddamn crisis.
It's not comfortable.
That's not comfortable either, when something is
not.
you always got a problem with this, a problem with that, another problem with so-and-so, humbugging every fucking way. Like you say, if you getting into it everywhere you go, it might be you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't everybody fucking with you, it's you. You know what I mean? And so then you have to really look at, why am I acting this way? Again, not with judgment, but there's reasons. There's a whole list of reasons, a litany of reasons. And to be, you'd have to love yourself enough to begin to confront that. That's why we do the self-love work for real, or as we say, the deeper end of the pool. Because this ain't no flimsy ass, I love myself, so I went and bought some fucking shoes. That's me loving myself. That's not what this is.
Or even going for a manicure and a pedicure.
Yeah, that's
Even
me
going
loving
for a
myself.
facial,
That's not loving yourself. That's getting a goddamn facial.
And
What it is
it's
is
self-care, which is good.
yeah,
but it's
a
not
distraction.
self-love.
It's a distraction if you ain't handling your business.
Yeah.
There's in order to really enjoy your life, there's certain shit you got to take care of, because it's your life. This is your life, and no one else is poised to love us in ways that we don't love ourselves.
That's right. We expect people to do something for us that we're not even doing for ourselves.
We're not even willing to do it for ourselves, and get mad with them when they won't do it.
I'm not upset with that, because people don't even really have an analysis of what self-love is.
Right.
Our mothers didn't tell us to love themselves. That's why I'm so glad my children have this verbiage and they have the understanding of what self-love looks like. They have the model of it. My mama didn't love herself.
Right.
She was a beautiful woman. She was a great mother, but I never saw her actively loving herself. I saw her working her fingers to the bone to take care of us. But I never saw her saying, I've got to do this for me. And even though she did, we got to have, that's another show.
Right.
That's another show. But this idea of self-love was gifted to me, from the Most High. For me to tell me, that I needed to love myself, and I journeyed through it and found out what that really means.
Right.
And do it every day. I fight for it every day, you know, to keep myself centered and balanced for myself, for my children, you know. And so part of the series is really understanding what self-love is. It's totally understanding, and I'm excited to share it, you know, with my sisters. And I always share these tidbits, but we're going to get it in a condensed fashion. And everybody who leaves is going to have a skill to work on to that day.
That's
and
right.
bring into their lives that day.
And then for those of you who've you know, been supporting and working with True Love Movement, because that's really what it is. If you're connected with True Love Movement, you're doing the work. You know, that's, you all are the best means of spreading that message and you know, letting people understand really what it is. Because of course we're talking about it this way, but those of you who've had the experience and have been doing the work are the best advocates and the best people to talk about that. You know, if you're proud of the changes that you're making, because that's the real proof. That's the real proof. And we understand, as I say, you know, imagine what healed people can do for our people. You all are influencing those people close to you, and those people are going and doing things. Because I've talked to a brother today about how, you know, how things have shaped up for him over time to where he's now pivotal in folks' life, and he wasn't even trying to do that, but it was because he's getting healthier. You know, so there's a tremendous amount of responsibility that we bear individually, but also collectively to be well. True Love Movement, we need you well. Our people need you well.
We need you well.
That's right.
I love that, Brother Shaq.
We need you well.
And I love you, but I'm slowly fading fast, my people.
Right on. Yeah, it's been a long day, and we give thanks for you all joining us. Again on Tuesday, we thank you for joining. You know, Saturday is back on True Love Movement Hour. You know, we're coming to you at 9 o'clock. They say prime time on a Tuesday night, and so we thank y'all for joining us. For everybody who will watch the show, we give thanks. Share this with people you respect. Go back and look at some of the other shows, you know, and look at some of the topics and things that interest you, kind of like a library, and see our thoughts on those things. Because many of the things that are happening in the news, and many of the shows and reports and blogs and stuff that are very reactionary to something that has just happened, we've dealt with that years ago.
Come on.
We've talked about, you know, publicly, but many years ago, privately and off camera and off air, you know, we've been dealing with and wrestling with this and reckoning with these kinds of things. And so go back and see, because there's a particular insight that True Love Movement has. And
that's because we ain't afraid to tell our own truth. Right? Everybody got brick walls up against the truth because they want to seem like they're so perfect and everything. You want to be perfect like me and all of this. Nah. The way we're going to really get it is when we are open and we are real and we are truthful about what we went through and how we changed it.
That's right. And that you know, still growing and still expanding, in the fact that you don't have to hit a point of perfection before you can be of service. But you do have to have a solid foundation. And it takes a long time to really solidify that. I mean, because we didn't get the way we got overnight, in any case, be it this way or that way. I also want us to remember, you know, we talked about here with regard to red flags and domestic violence type situations. You know, Mama Fiyah, like looking at this shit and realizing that maybe some of the ways that you're conducting yourself, be it black man or black woman, is headed for disaster.
Yes.
You know, that there's a different kind of way that we could be treating each other. I mean, I want y'all to really think about how when you are kind to someone, some people mistake your kindness for some kind of weakness. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have this notion that there's something weak about being kind to one another. I suggest strongly, to the extent that you can, to be very gentle with black people. All black people. Black men, black women, black children, to be gentle. Ain't nothing weak about that. There's nothing weak about that at all. As a matter of fact, that's extremely strong given what we've been through. It requires some emotional fortitude to say, I'm going to be kind and gentle to people. And you would be amazed at how that come back to you. You know, you talked about why do we keep attracting these kind of people? You attract what you are.
That's right.
Not what you want.
Come on.
You attract what you are. So if you want something different than what you're getting, you'll have to be something different. You're not going to get it because you want it. It don't give a fuck about how good you trying or you feel like you deserve it. You're going to get what you are. So that's the indicator. So if you're looking at your significant other or the person that you've chosen or the person that has chosen you or whatever the case is, and you are saying, man, they're a horrible person, they mistreat me, they do me that, just go look in the mirror. Because they are there because they are like you. They are vibrating on the same frequency you are. The law of attraction say.
Yeah, it's gonna give you what you think you deserve.
Right.
They're coming to give you what you think you deserve. And so when we level up and we realize that we deserve to be loved, that we are lovable and we deserve to be loved, starting with yourself first.
That's it.
Somebody's not coming to save you. Somebody's not coming to love you until you're better. Nobody's going to do that for you. You have to do that for yourself.
And the reason they're not is because they got their own thing they got to be taken care of. You know, we can't be lacking people hooking up with other lacking people thinking we're going to get something that's full and whole. That ain't how it works. So share this show and others with those you respect. I think it's going to go up on the True Love Movement, our YouTube channel. You know, you got this domestic violence talk that's coming up on the 20th, right?
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff happening in October.
We got a lot of stuff happening in October. We're going to put
There's a colorism panel that I'm on the 16th, a panel about colorism. Last year it was a panel about domestic violence, but they're just doing it again, a panel about colorism. So that's going to be a pretty deep thing too. And then on the 20th, that's a Saturday in the evening from 5 to 9 across the river is the domestic violence, teaching on the red flags.
So be on the lookout for that. We're going to drop those flyers in the thread. Y'all keep the comments coming though, family. We appreciate Ronika and Yaja and Shantice and
thank y'all. That's my sister.
Natasha and
hey sisters.
And Urka and Antoinette.
Hey, Antoinette, Natasha, Mama Donna.
Yeah, and everybody that we can't see all the names in the thread, but we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for joining us. We will appreciate your comments long after the feed is over. We'll catch you Saturday at 5 p.m. on WBOK for the True Love Movement Hour. 5 to 6 every Saturday. And, I'm Brother Shaq.
And Mama Fiyah.
For True Love Movement Tuesdays. Wholeness, family. All right, let me get this together here.
Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Aw, you're so sweet, Brother Shaq.
Right on.